Sí. Ánimo, muchachos. Sí, dos, dos. Sal, dos, dos, dos. Salsi, dos, dos, dos. Ánimo, pues buenas noches, buenas noches. A toda la gente presente por ahí que se encuentra por ahí en esta bonita tarde. Ánimo, muchachos. De tierras sureñas vengo, de allí les traigo mi canto. Alumno soy de la vida te enseña tanto. Un gavilán de la sierra me enseñó a gritar volando, lo mismo por las alturas que por el suelo rozando. Soy como quiero ser, ser amigo de todos, ranchero hasta los codos, sincero a más no poder. Soy como quiero ser. Compa Iván y la banda Nueva Generación de la Bahía, viejón. Un gallo pidió permiso de pisar a una pollita, cuando se lo concedieron y hasta ponía la maldita. Un pénico que era mudo me enseñó con su silencio a echarle la lengua a un nudo antes de hablar a lo menso. Soy como quiero ser, ser amigo de todos, ranchero hasta los codos, sincero a más no poder. Soy como quiero ser. Eso dijo. Dale, Junior. Soy como el potro amañado que cuando mira potranca no entiende nadie encierro por alta que estén las trancas. De tierras sureñas vengo, de allí les traje mi canto. Alumno soy de la vida te enseña tanto. Soy como quiero ser, ser amigo de todos, ranchero hasta los codos, sincero a más no poder. Soy como quiero ser. ¡Ánimo, viejo! Se vale bailar, oiga. ¡De los nanes! A mi chata le gusta bailar sangoloteadito, compadre. Sangoloteadito, compadre. Sangoloteadito. Es por eso que trae mocado y sudado su vestidito, compadre, su vestidito. Le gusta bailar pegado al ritmo de la tambora. Es el sabor de mi tuba, lo que mi chatita adora. Le gusta bailar pegado al ritmo de la tambora. Es el sabor de mi tuba, lo que mi chatita adora. ¡Ese Pancho! Eso, viejo. Cada vez que le invito a bailar me roza y me raspa, compadre. Me roza y me raspa, compadre. Mis botines nuevos. No, compadre, no baile pegado, compadre. No admito relevos, compadre. No admito relevos. Le gusta bailar pegado al ritmo de la tambora. Es el sabor de mi tuba, lo que mi chatita adora. Le gusta bailar pegado al ritmo de la tambora. Es el sabor de mi tuba, lo que mi chatita adora. Cada vez que le invito a bailar me roza y me raspa, compadre. Me roza y me raspa, compadre. Mis botines nuevos. Compadre, no baile pegado, compadre. No admito relevos, compadre. No admito relevos. Le gusta bailar pegado al ritmo de la tambora. Es el sabor de mi tuba, lo que mi chatita adora. Y le gusta bailar pegado al ritmo de la tambora. Es el sabor de mi tuba, lo que mi chatita adora. Mira, muchachos, por ahí los invitamos a bailar, se vale bailar. Algo de cumbiecita por ahí se va. Eva María, muchachos, algo bonito por ahí con gusto y cariño para ustedes.
¿Dónde le puedes peinado? Rico, rico, rico. Sí.
Eva María se fue buscando el sol en la playa, con su maleta de piel y su bikini de raya. Ella se marchó y solo me dejó recuerdos de su ausencia. Mientras yo sufro la pena de vivir sin su amor. ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue? Apenas puedo dormir pensando en si ella me quiere, si necesita de mí y si es amor lo que siente. Qué bonita está bañándose en el mar, bronceándose en la arena, mientras yo sufro la pena de vivir sin su amor. ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue? Qué bonito. Apenas puedo dormir pensando en si ella me quiere, si necesita de mí y si es amor lo que siente. Qué bonita está bañándose en el mar, bronceándose en la arena, mientras yo sufro la pena de vivir sin su amor. ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Qué voy a hacer si Eva María se fue?
Dale pues, muchachos, se llaman los suspiros, algo rancherito bonito por ahí. Ahorita toda la gente presente. Se llaman los suspiros, compa Pepito, dice. Nice. A todas horas, amorcito, estoy pensando en ti. Mi corazón envolviste loco, ya no sé de mí. Eres la dueña de mi alma, de mi vida entera. Sin ti no vivo, soy un alma en pena. Ahora comprendo que el amor es algo muy bonito. Siento mariposas aquí adentrito, cerca del pecho te traigo mi amor. Vives en el centro de mi corazón. Todas las noches sueño contigo. Cuando te veo lanzo suspiros, suspiros que se van hasta el cielo, para que este amor lo bendiga Dios. Chiquitita, mamacita.
Y arriba Michoacán, oiga. Gente de Jalisco, oiga. Sinaloa.
A todas horas, mi amorcito, estoy pensando en ti. Mi corazón envolviste loco, ya no sé de mí. Eres la dueña de mi alma, de mi vida entera. Sin ti no vivo, soy un alma en pena. Ahora comprendo que el amor es algo muy bonito. Siento mariposas aquí adentrito, cerca del pecho te traigo mi amor. Vives en el centro de mi corazón. Todas las noches sueño contigo. Cuando te veo lanzo suspiros, suspiros que se van hasta el cielo, para que este amor lo bendiga Dios, para que este amor lo bendiga Dios.
Saludos a la gente bonita de Michoacán, oiga. La gente de Jalisco por ahí, Sinaloa, Zacatecas, Guanajuato. Toda la gente bonita de la República Mexicana por ahí, saludos con mucho cariño para ustedes. Si hay gente de Centroamérica, también saludos con mucho cariño. ¡Ánimo, muchachos! La banda Nueva Generación de la Bahía por aquí haciendo presencia con ustedes. Ojalá se les estén pasando bonito, se estén divirtiendo. ¡Ánimo, ¡ánimo, compañero! Muchas gracias. Aquí lo dejamos en buenas manos, muchachos. Amigo de banda Nueva Generación.
Muchísimas gracias a toda la gente.
Support for KQED Live comes from
We are change makers,
An ambitious vision to boost medical advances at 50% less cost to society.
forging life-altering scientific breakthroughs.
Genentech promises to leave no patient behind.
Our focus is even greater than medicine.
Working to eliminate racial bias in clinical trials and STEM education.
To solve the world's most complex healthcare challenges and to improve the lives of all patients.
Buenas, 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 buenas. Hello, hello. Let's give it up to Banda La Nueva Generación del área de la Bahía, everybody. I know that y'all got your zapateado on back there, but I'm going to have to ask everyone, todos que nos arrimemos un poco más para acá. Let's get closer. Let's take a seat because we're about to get started. All right. El pan dulce will stay there. Don't worry. I'll be watching it. Safe. You're in a safe space. So why don't we go ahead and take a seat real quick, get ourselves comfy so you can see some of these wonderful panelists that are going to present in front of you and some performances as well. Are we ready? All right, well, before we start, my name is Rodrigo Duran. I am a proud member of KQED's Community Advisory Panel, also known as CAP. Yes, give a round of applause if you know what CAP is. We are volunteers. We are part of CAP. We are part of the community. As dedicated volunteers, I work alongside an incredible team of community leaders to help KQED build stronger, more connected communities across the 9 Bay Area counties that we serve. I'm honored to be part of the dynamic efforts to ensure KQED remains a vibrant, inclusive platform for all. KQED is Northern California's go-to PBS NPR member station. Our mission is to inform, inspire, and involve, and our live events program aims to bring our amazing journalism to the stage. You can find out more about our performances, our food tastings, trivia nights, and more at kqed.org/live. Now, I have a question. Raise your hand if you are already a KQED member. Ooh, we got some here. Okay, gracias. Give a round of applause to our KQED members right here. For those who haven't joined yet, we'd love for you to become a member. Supporting KQED means supporting local journalism that truly matters. Plus, when you join, you'll get access to some pretty sweet benefits, right? Right? All the members, some sweet benefits like backstage tours, discounted tickets, a pledge-free KQED FM stream, and now we have also added a benefit. If you donate $150 a year, you get a KQED artisanal chocolate bar. It's made by Malena from the Chocolate Bar. And it's an East Bay chocolate company who has been featured on this very stage. With notes of ginger and cafecito, it reflects the global nature of the Bay. So, again, scan this QR code to sign up, and this code will also be on display in the lobby on your way out after the event. Stop by, take a look, and, let us know if you're going to join us. We'd like to also thank, of course, the season sponsors who make KQED Live possible. The San Francisco Symphony, Genentech. We are also grateful for their commitment to support our mission of civic and cultural engagement in the Bay Area. Shout out to Calle 24 and Galeria de la Raza for sharing this event to the local community. I see you all. Now let's introduce the host
with the most for the show, Carlos Cabrera Lomelí, who is a community reporter with KQED's digital engagement team. He also reports and co-produces for KQED's bilingual news hub, KQED en Español. He grew up in San Francisco's Mission District and has previously worked with Univision, 48 Hills, and Reforma in Mexico City. Give it a round.
Gracias, Rodrigo. Gracias. And that's not going to be the only time you see Rodrigo tonight. So he'll actually be one of our panelists later on in the show about cultural makers and folks who work to preserve spaces for arts and culture here in the Bay. Pero bueno, lo primero, it is so good to be here in front of y'all, and especially on a warm day, because the Bay Area feels a lot better when it's warm, or no, right? And especially now, which is Latino Heritage Month, which started, that's right, Latino, ya nos toca. It started on September 15 and goes all the way to October 15, so 20 days, y'all, so use them wisely, all right? But we can learn and celebrate our heritage and tradition every day of the year. And for the past 3 years, I have had the opportunity to work as a reporter on stories and live events like this one that tell the stories of Latino communities across the Bay Area in California. 3 years ago is when KQED as an organization set on a Latinx Audiences Initiative. Its goal? Create content that the Latino Bay Area was looking for, whether that be podcasts like Hyphenación, hosted by Jorge Olivares, which ran earlier this year, a video series on social media all about Latina changemakers by Paloma Barca, who, by the way, also produced this show, a monthly newsletter by the name of ¿Qué Onda? That brings together in one place all of our journalism in service of Latino audiences, this by Blanca Torres, and of course, so many live events produced by the one and only Yuan Martinez, who for 2 decades has pushed this organization to do more for the Latino Bay Area. She, along with former KQEDers Lina Blanco and Bianca Hernandez, laid the groundwork for this project. And who did we get to meet these past 3 years? All of you, everyone who has come through those doors to support spaces for Latino art, food, politics, and music. And tonight, we welcome back many of these cultural makers. We will have 3 different conversations, so that's the format for tonight. 3 different panels. The first will feature Latina musicians in the Bay Area. Then we will hear from folks who work to preserve cultural spaces. And we'll close things off with 3 Latino food entrepreneurs. Before we begin our first conversation, let's watch this quick video from one of the panelists you'll meet shortly, Ginger.
Latinx Excellence, Mujeres, Keepers of Cultura.
I'm Dizzy Jenkins, and I'm a multi-genre singer-songwriter and drummer. My journey as a singer-songwriter started when I was really young. I've always loved music. Being a Puerto Rican in New York City, you have this really cool kind of collection of things that are shaping you as a person. Growing up in the hood, I got exposed to a lot of really great hip-hop and R&B and reggae and funk and soul. My grandparents listened to a lot of salsa music. And eventually I got into bomba here in the Bay Area. Bomba is Afro-Indigenous, Taino specifically, resistance music from Puerto Rico. It is played with barriles, with maraca, with gua, vocals, and a dancer. We face a lot of challenges as women in the music industry. As a woman who drums, there is another set of challenges in that sometimes you are in a very male-dominated space. I grew up being told, calladita te ve más bonita, which means the quieter you are, the prettier you are. If you're quiet, you're prettier. But how I overcome that is by just being myself, being true to myself, and just showing up and taking up space unapologetically. When I speak on Latinx excellence, Boricua comes to mind because of the resilience and the struggle and the beauty of my people and our culture. But it wasn't until I started playing bomba that I realized that I could not just incorporate a lot of my Latinness, my Puerto Ricanness into my music, but also the percussion and the passion and the love and just the ancestral healing that comes with playing these drums as well. It just helps me to feel like I'm part of something bigger.
This is a testament to the strength and resilience of the Latinx community. Latinx excellence. Mujeres, keepers of cultura.
We'll be seeing several more of those videos throughout the evening, but let's meet Ginger in person. So, previously known as Dizzy Jenkins. Oh, yeah. Qué bueno verte. A ver, te puedes sentar. And then, so aquí se puede sentar. Yo me siento acá. All right, so aquí I can introduce each of my guests one by one. So Ginger is a musician, as we heard, whose talent crosses different genres and instruments, originally from New York City, now firmly planted in Oakland, bringing the Afro-Indigenous rhythms of bomba to the Bay. And now to my right, I have Lali Mejia, a percussionist, composer, and producer, originally from Maracaibo, Venezuela. Lali founded the musical project Bululu to celebrate the sounds of Venezuela and the Caribbean here in California. You may have seen Bululu's performance at this year's Carnaval San Francisco. And to my farthest left, we have farthest right, we have Maria Jose Montijo, creator of Esoterica Tropical. Majo's music can be described as a love letter to Puerto Rico from the diaspora. Their 2024 debut album was named as some of the Bay Area's best music for 2024 by KLW, White Crate, and of course, KQED. All right, so we can begin the conversation, y'all. But un placer, buenas tardes, good to have y'all.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien.
Un placer.
Hola, hola.
Bien, bien. Bueno, yo más feliz que ustedes están acá. Ahí que ya podemos platicar. So, Ginger, this is not the first time you're on the stage. Lali, you've also worked with us before as well. I'd love to hear from the three of y'all. What have the last couple years been like? Ginger, I know that you've recently changed your artistic name, and Majo, I know that last year was really big for you. So let's hear what your artistic journey has been like recently, and we can start off with you, Ginger.
Oh, well, for me, a lot's been going on in the past couple of years. So I decided to focus on my band, Diablura, full-time. And as you may have noticed, I abandoned ship from the Dizzy Jenkins solo persona and went full tilt with my band, which is a heavy metal band that incorporates bomba elements into it. So we've been very busy writing and performing. We put an album out called Praise the Void. I do still play a lot of bomba on the side, by the way. I'd never abandoned ship on my cultural and folkloric music, but I definitely took a step back from my solo work to focus on being in a more collaborative environment. And my band has been around for a very long time, since like 2008 or so. So this is the first time that I've been more so focused wholeheartedly on it. And it's been great, and I've been having a lot of fun. And I have a show tomorrow at Eli's, by the way, if you want to come to that.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. What about you, Lali?
Yes, thank you, Carlos. Well, a pleasure to be here. Thank you, KQED Live, and thank you for having me as a guest tonight. It's an honor. Well, the last 2 years have been busy, definitely for my band, Latin band, by the way, Bululu. We have put out 2 albums, one per year, mostly all original music. We've been having wonderful collaborations with artists, producers, and cast of people from all over Latin America in those productions. We've also been very busy with gigs, mostly festivals, a little bit of higher productions. The band has been around for 7 years, but truly in the last 3 years is when we've been able to reach a certain level of maturity, of sound, of embodiment of the music, and a true sense of purpose as to why we do what we do. And I think now it's just really everything's starting to flourish properly. So we've been busy and very productive for the past couple of years, musically speaking.
Qué bien, qué bien. Eso nos gusta, eso nos gusta.
Gracias.
Y Majo, what about you? I mean, this year, the first album, felicidades. How are you feeling?
Thank you so much. And it's nice to be here with y'all. So these past years have been good. It took a long time to release my album, and it was definitely a community effort. I was able to record because of a Labs grant. And, it takes a village. And it was really beautiful how it was received by the people and the doors that it has opened. I've gotten really good feedback. So the album is my namesake, Esoterica Tropical. That's the name of my project, and it's a mix of medicinal music that is rooted in also Afro-Puerto Rican rhythms, in bomba music, and also Latin American electronic music. And yeah, I feel like a lot of opportunities have arisen from that release. And recently I performed with La Perla from Bogota and Chancha Via Circuito from Argentina. And I'm also working on my second album thanks to a grant, thanks to the Women's Audio Mission here in San Francisco, the local Sirens residency. And I'm also an artist in residence now in Montalvo Arts Center in Saratoga, the Music and Composition Fellowship. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
And
That's what I've been
all
up
the way
to.
from Saratoga, driving today.
Yeah, I came from Saratoga. I'm a traditional medicine practitioner. I'm an acupuncturist, and I also incorporate this into my practice, and I offer sound healings for the community, and sometimes with acupuncture, sometimes just the harp and the voice. And those have been really well received by the Bay Area community. Yeah.
Wow.
I did it once and can confirm. You remember?
And Ginger and me, we've collaborated a lot. We're from the Afro Puerto Rican bomba community, so we're harmony sisters. Yes.
Bueno,
We love to harmonize
programamos
together.
nuestra cita. And I'm really happy that you mentioned a bit of what you're working on right now, Malcolm. And what I would love to hear from the three of y'all, and Ginger, also you mentioned, what you're doing with your band as well. But right now, what are you excited about working on? And also, what are some of the things, the big picture things happening in the Bay Area, in California, in this country that you're thinking about that are motivating your work, right? And obviously, this, you can define this in any way you want, whether it's, what it means to be an artist here in the Bay Area, the hustle, or the challenges that this current administration has brought to our communities. But I'd love to hear, what are you working on, and what are those things that are motivating you? Yeah, do you wanna start, Lali?
Yes, absolutely. Well, we are starting our third album. Production has already started. And I'm really excited about it, actually, because this album, the whole conceptual framework around it and the narrative is going to be around Latino life as it stands today, right now, largely inspired by our Bay Area communities. So all sorts of topics. I mean, domestic life, relationships, the influence of maybe technology in our everyday lives. All of those will be, lyrics that you'll be hearing, but most especially, and what's probably taking the most craftiness about it is that, every single story will be told from a double entendre, from another place that will lead you into the story. Sometimes with a little humor, a little cleverness. But the idea is really to make people think differently, to make our audiences perhaps look at their everyday living in a different light. Maybe it's there's a little bit of a paradigm shift. Maybe it's about empowerment. Some of the tunes are about empowerment, about cultivating sort of that confidence and energy into our very Latino communities and audiences. So very special. We're putting a lot of care and love into the making of that album. There's already a couple of singles out. The most recent one called Los Tornillos, the Screws. And it's out there in YouTube and in our Bululu channel. You could give it a gander. But yes, most certainly the current climate is driving a lot of our work. The reason why we do the work is giving us a sense of purpose moving forward. Anywhere from human rights, immigration, LGBTQ, rights, you name it. All of this is feeding into the music that we do. It's really giving us the gravitas to move forward and more actively to complete this album and to complete every single lyrical component to be able to empower our communities, to foster unity, to foster care, but at the same time to bring us together and understand that all of this is a collective effort and we will get through as such. the music and the arts are an essential component of that, and we're lucky to be able to transmit that in some way through our art form.
And then podemos ir contigo, Ginger. We can.
That was a great response. I don't know how I'll follow up to that, but I know I can probably speak for myself and my whole band right now as we're writing new music and we're performing and we're just putting ourselves out there in a way that we haven't done before. I think the most exciting thing is really being able to just show up and bring something different to the heavy music space. I know when I pull up to a gig with my barril, you kind of get them looks like, what is she, ¿qué es eso? What's she gonna do? So it's fun and it's a really great time, and this is a really exciting time in heavy metal because there's a lot of women at the forefront, and that's great for me, you know. As far as how our current climate is shaping our sound, I think that it's always been that way. I take a lot of inspiration from everyday life and my culture. So lyrically, you hear a lot of different themes, and you know, I do incorporate a lot of how I feel about things into the lyrics that go into our songs, you know. And in my solo work as well, that has been a constant theme for me. But it's a great time for us to really get angry in a productive way, and I think that this is one of the best genres of music for me to do that with. I think we have a really great DIY scene going on in the Bay Area where we can put on shows ourselves and not necessarily need to depend on venues or pay to play. And unfortunately, a lot of the venues are suffering right now. So we've got to find a way to support each other in any of our music spaces. So it's a really cool time. It's an exciting time for me as a lyricist, as a vocalist, as a drummer. And it's just fun to show up and show people what we can do, which is a little different from what everybody else has got going on. And I can attribute that to just my culture and my upbringing and all the things that make me me. So.
Yeah, so, you know, living in times of genocide is super hard. Like, I'm thinking about music in terms of what it is that I want to hear that's going to get me out of bed, that is going to help me resist despair. And what's happening here with our community, with our immigrant community, all the violence, all the kidnappings, and it's just like, it's really hard to digest that. So I'm thinking lyrically, what is the antidote for that? How can I counteract that, and how can, I wouldn't say, you know, how can we gather around the things that make us feel good in joyful resistance? So that's what I'm thinking about when I'm making music now for this album. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, yeah. What you say, Majo, really reminds me of what we hear from organizers here in the Bay Area who are doing immigration justice work, and they point out to the parallels between, like you said, what's happening in the streets here of San Francisco outside immigration courts and what's happening in Palestine as well, that it's part of a bigger system. And to bring it back to the Bay Area, and the last question that we'll have for y'all, and Ginger, you mentioned this, that venues are struggling, and this since the pandemic, cultural spaces have been working really hard to be able to survive. So what we can have a minute for each of y'all to answer this, but what do we need right now so Latina musicians, Latinx musicians, and Latino music can continue to thrive here in the Bay Area, in this place we love? And then Lali, do you want to start?
Yes, well, I think that an important aspect of that will be we have to join forces. We have to understand the power of the collective, and we have to understand truly that community building equals power. It equals power, no matter how you look at it. That is the reality, and that is the foundation. I mean, a lot of the places, we're fortunate that in the Bay Area, the art scene is supported, is understood. There's so much aperture, and there's, I've always felt so wonderful, really, truly representing the gist of the Bay Area. But yes, we're going through really difficult times. So sticking together, a lot of these places really are going to have to find a way to permit us to bring about our message and our art and our function, our purpose into society, and support us in perhaps different and more creative ways. Yes, that's my 2 cents on that.
Come to the gigs.
Buy merch.
And buy merch.
Buy our albums in Bandcamp.
On Fridays, specifically.
On Friday, the first Friday of the month.
First Friday of the month. Buy our stuff. I mean, honestly, that's kind of what it all boils down to is just coming through to the things that we post, shows or whatever it is. And I know for myself, speaking as someone who's part of what we would consider to be a subculture, listen to those voices that are in those subcultures, because we have a really amazing, thriving punk and hardcore and heavy metal scene where there are tons of Latinos in those scenes. And sometimes I know it's hard to listen to a voice that's like loud, raspy, or growly, but those voices are saying important things too. So just on a selfish note, come to the shows, come to the DIY shows, support all of the bands, and have fun with us, just dash around and mosh with me for my birthday tomorrow at Eli's, 8 o'clock.
That's happening. Y'all know where and when already. And then Majo, do you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, I think being an artist here in the Bay is a real struggle, and it's really not sustainable, to be honest. And that's why we need you to come out to see us perform, to buy our merch, to buy our albums, and we really need your support, because music is a commodity right now that's like taken really for granted, and it's really a labor of love. Yeah.
And folks will actually have the chance to listen to you, Majo, right now. So Ginger Lally, we'll move off stage, but Majo, you'll be able to you'll perform a song for us. So what will you sing to us tonight?
I'm gonna sing Esotérica Tropical from my album Esotérica Tropical.
Eso.
By me, Esotérica Tropical.
Eso. All right.
Eso.
Lally, Ginger, we can head off the stage.
Hola, hola, hola. San Francisco, La Misión, how you doing tonight? How you feeling? You had your cafecito, your pancito, your pupusa. You got some good gifts? Good. Tan frágil el reflejo en el cristal, efímero como la luz baila en el mar. La marea canta siempre su canción, alucinante cuando se pone el sol. Esotérica tropical, esotérica tropical. Las olas vienen y se van.
Mi alma, el agua refresca mi alma, el agua refresca mi alma, el agua refresca mi alma, es la fuerza natural que te invita a luchar por nuestro país, por nuestra tierra, por nuestro futuro, por les que vendrán. Y es que el Caribe te da mucha magia, mucha fuerza, mucha magia, mucha fuerza, mucha magia, mucha magia, mucha magia, mucha magia, mucha magia, mucha fuerza. Yo estoy ready para la lucha, yo soy la naturaleza. Soy caribeña, latinoamericana, y a mí me habla el corazón del agua y el maya. Yo te escucho y el maya, hasta ve, yo te escucho, madre tierra. Tú latir mi palpitar, defenderte mi promesa. Esta tierra se respeta, mucha magia, mucha fuerza. Yo estoy ready para la lucha, yo soy la naturaleza. Soy caribeña, latinoamericana, y a mí me habla el corazón del agua y el maya. Yo te escucho y el maya, hasta ve, yo te escucho, madre tierra. Tú latir mi palpitar, defenderte mi promesa. Esta tierra se respeta. Nuestras vidas se respetan, nuestras vidas inmigrantes se respetan. Corazón de la tierra, corazón del agua, corazón de la tierra, corazón del agua, corazón de la tierra, corazón del agua, corazón de la tierra, corazón del agua. El agua fluye como la sangre en las venas, nube cargada de llanto, aguacero, el cuerpo un río, un océano. Nuestra vida es la tierra, nuestra vida es el agua. Vamos a defenderla, vamos a defenderla, vamos a defenderla. Thank you.
Wow, that was incredible. Wow, it's un placer. One of the best things about this type of job is always being surrounded by incredibly talented and creative people. Majo is one of them, and we're going to introduce one member of the next panel through a video as part of our series that we worked on a couple of years back about Latinx excellence, specifically Latinas here in the Bay Area that throughout different sectors are putting in the hard work to continue preserving nuestra cultura aquí. Let's watch the next one.
Latinx Excellence. Mujeres, keepers of cultura.
My name is Jessica Maria Recinos, and I'm a creative director for Rising Rhythm. I was born and raised here in San Francisco within the Mission District and the Excelsior District, and I think my Bay Area community really shaped me into the person I am today. I started dancing around the mission when I was a teen. I started taking class at different studios around the mission and doing a lot of performance outside in the street. And I think that's what captivated me a lot, to do traditional art in a non-traditional way. 5, 6, 7, 8. Rising Rhythm was just an idea when I was teaching at Boys and Girls Club. And to see it come so far, all of the artists that we were able to bring in and cultivate from the ground up, it's really special to be a pillar in this community, to just see their visions come to life. I'm someone who really feels through movement. I would observe my environment and learn and soak in a lot of knowledge, but I never really spoke up. Now I found my outlet. Through movement and through music and song, I'm able to use my voice and feel my emotions through my body. And I think that is my superpower on how I can heal through difficult situations. The word that comes to mind when I hear Latinx excellence is power, because there's so much power in everyone in my family, in my community, that have gotten me to where I am today, to spread love and joy around my community.
Latinx excellence. Mujeres, keepers of cultura.
All right, so please join me in welcoming to the stage Jessica herself, who created Rising Rhythm, a Salvadoran American artist, and who's also joined by 2 icons of the mission. So we here have Martina Ayala, who leads the Mission Cultural Center for Latino Arts. And we also, of course, you know this man already, Rodrigo Duran, Executive Director of Carnaval. What a panel to be here with us. Y'all, qué compañía, qué honor, cuánto talento, cuánta historia, cuánta sabiduría. And Jessica, you know, something you mentioned here, you know, in the video, is the role of spaces growing up that you would go to practice, and the people that you'd meet, the mentors that you would meet there. So my question, and you know, I'd love to then hear from Rodrigo and Martina, but who were those mentors and those spaces that inspired you to take this purpose, the purpose of, you know, cada día working to preserve cultural spaces for Latino art?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting right in between them. I grew up dancing in Mission Cultural Center, Dance Mission Theater, but one of my biggest influences, which inspired Rising Rhythm, was Carnaval San Francisco. So I've been in all of these spaces ever since I was a youth. And so traditional theater in a non-traditional way is kind of in me, and a lot of artists here, directors who have provided me that space to be able to perform on the streets, do theater outside with the people, not just, you know, on the stage, is something that's really important and is very, it's very true to our culture, you know, Latinx culture, Afro-Latin, it's with the people, you know.
Martina, what about you?
It's so important to have cultural spaces that nurture the emerging artists. And Mission Cultural Center is a multidisciplinary art center that provides this, that supports, advocates, and has that space. And I think it's so important to preserve it. We are at risk at this moment, and it's really important for us to see the importance. This is why it's important to have a space. Culture is not a luxury. It's the infrastructure for health, well-being, and the preservation of art and culture.
Rodrigo, ¿y tú? Cuéntanos.
I have to go after la doctora. I'm a product of the Mission Cultural Center as well. That was my second home growing up. I was raised on 20th and Mission, so I was always there learning how to dance, whether it be Aztec dance to capoeira, Afro-Brazilian, salsa, you name it. And so it really shaped my identity and gave me that sense of value and worth and understanding of who I was in terms of like this world. I traveled knowing who I was, and so that was never a challenge for me. But I really owe it to these cultural centers, these staples, and now I'm the executive director of Carnaval, so it feels like full circle to provide a space, because we have a space now, Casa de Carnaval, which is a block away, so that we can nurture people's minds, their bodies, their souls in the same way like the Mission Cultural Center has done for many of us here.
And well, gracias, Rodrigo. And I'm really happy you mentioned Casa de Carnaval. I mean, felicidades. I know that this is a huge achievement that folks have been organizing for years. It's very close to here. It's on Florida Street, I think 2 blocks away from here. And at the same time, Martina, you mentioned this, MCCLA is a bit on the opposite side of the spectrum. Y'all are fighting to keep the space that y'all currently have on Mission. And Jessica, I know that you've been working for a long time to find also a permanent home for Rising Rhythm. So I'm curious, since the pandemic, what have been some of the challenges and opportunities in making sure that Latino music, Latino danza, and performance have a permanent home here in the Bay Area, que tengan una casa? And then Martina, we can start off with you.
I think for the Mission Cultural Center, we've been the Hospital of the Soul for over 49 years. It's 37,500 square feet. We have a theater, a gallery, podcast studios, an archival collection. It's a complete center. That was the vision of the founders. And at this time, we are being asked to leave for 2 to 3 years. Wow. For voluntary seismic retrofitting and HVAC repairs. Now, you can retrofit a building, but you cannot retrofit a community after it's been displaced. And some of the challenges that we've had continuously has been underfunding, late disbursements of our grants that have caused us to displace artists, and it's really important that we maintain this space, but that we come back better and stronger after these repairs, and that we ensure that we can keep this space in our community, that we are not evicted, that the city grants us that assurance, and that they continue to invest, because we are the city of San Francisco.
And Martina, quick question for folks who want to, follow, all the updates, de esta lucha, of this fight. How can they keep up with MCCLA?
You can visit our social media platforms, our website at missionculturalcenter.org. You can visit our Instagram at MCCLASF. We are launching a capital campaign. We have an upcoming VIP Day of the Dead Gala, and we are in desperate need of funding at this moment. Our goal is to raise $250,000 by December, and a lot more before the end of the fiscal year. As you know, many of the organizations that are nonprofits are going to be facing reimbursable grant systems come fiscal year 27, which means that if we are struggling now, not just Mission Cultural Center, but many arts organizations and other nonprofits are going to face closure, layoffs, and it's going to be a domino effect unless we prepare ourselves and we come together as a community, as a force to keep our culture, our traditions alive.
Gracias, Martina. And Jessica, tell us a bit about the work to find a home for Rising Rhythm. I know that part of that also involved, potentially the Excelsior, and tell us a bit also the value of making sure that folks and families in Excelsior, in the Outer Mission, also have access to these spaces.
Definitely, in response to what you mentioned about the pandemic, how it affected different arts institutions, Rising Rhythm started off as a professional performance company, youth and adults, mainly live performance. But during the pandemic, we had to get very creative, as everyone knows. It was very challenging, we had to become multidisciplinary artists. A dancer would have to become a videographer, an editor, a DJ, and live stream it all and still make money and survive. And so Rising Rhythm has definitely undergone a lot of restructuring. We've definitely utilized the blessings that we learned from the pandemic to be able to reach a wider network nationally and internationally. So we've pivoted to a production and casting company where we're able to reach a wider audience and employ and you collaborate with artists who have learned all these skills from the pandemic that we didn't know we had until we had to, So it's a lot of fun. And though we still are looking for a permanent home, we still we understand that we are the home. And wherever we travel, we're going to make an impact.
Gracias, Jessica.
Jessica, and that just points to the importance that whether we are looking for a permanent home, whether we are repairing our spaces, la cultura sigue. The art continues, and we must continue to provide that service because that's our blood. That's what pumps blood into our heart.
And Rodrigo, so let's talk about Casa de Carnaval. It came, estas noticias, these news came a few years after the pandemic, but I also know that the pandemic also was, brought a whole different challenges to Carnaval. So could you just tell us a little bit of that journey from, I remember during the pandemic, Carnaval took place outside John O'Connell. Y de allá, y que fue una lucha para seguir con eso, and now we've come to, we come to this place que, we're celebrating Casa de Carnaval. Could you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, there's one thing us folks in the arts community are great at is pivoting. I think we heard that twice already. And so we pivoted during the pandemic from our normal schedule of doing a 2-day festival and a grand parade, and then finding out that with the pandemic, we obviously weren't gonna have it. So we opened up a Mission Food Hub. So it's a culturally relevant pantry that we still have, where we, at the height of the pandemic, we were serving 9,000 culturally relevant groceries to families every week. And so now we went from an arts organization to providing direct services to then producing a health and wellness fair in the middle of the pandemic, small scale celebration that provided food, vaccines, opportunities for jobs, and so on and so forth around culture. So culture was really what was holding all of those efforts together. And then during the pandemic, we're doing a capital campaign to raise $3.5 million, which we did so that we can have this Casa de Carnaval that you see. The actual name is the Indigenous Peoples Cultural Arts Healing Center, aka Casa de Carnaval, because during the pandemic, we've realized that mental health was the #1 need of our community, especially culturally relevant mental health services. And so we realized that we'd have to think of the arts as a home, as a space to cure, to feed folks' mental health, their body, and also their spirits. And that is why we have this home. And of course, we want to purchase it. We want to be owners of the space. So we have that capital campaign going. But currently right now we're building, or we have already a recording studio for youth. We just need to get all the equipment. So we're in that process right now. We're fighting the good fight, like I think all of us are. And so we welcome you all to do a little bit more research on what we're doing at canasf.org.
Qué bien. Gracias, Rodrigo. All right. So, Martina, you mentioned that the way that cultural nonprofits is changing here in the city, and San Francisco is changing the way its funding rules, and also we're seeing at the federal level, at the national level, this administration / grants that based on if the administration believes that they don't align with its values, right? So many cultural and artistic groups nationwide are going through a difficult moment. It's an uncertain future, but in this moment, what lessons can we learn? And Martina, Jessica, what both of y'all have mentioned here and in previous conversations with me is the value of the knowledge that our ancestors, our mentors already have, because it's not the first time that we've seen something like this happen. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to hear from the three of y'all how, as we approach this uncertain future, how in this, in the Latino artistic space, how can we avoid pitfalls that the system sets up, right? That, where maybe groups have to feel like they have to fight for limited resources and approach a more collaborative system, right? That can, weather these challenges. So Martina, I'm curious.
Yes, I think, first of all, our center is an intergenerational pipeline. And I cannot see having Latinx art and culture without having the whole familia in the room and sharing and passing down that knowledge from the elders to the youth and in exposing each other to each other's richness. Now, in terms of the challenges, I think I'm an elder in this panel. I lived through this. What we're going through now, I lived through it in my youth. It's been done before. The writing's on the wall, and it is really important for us to teach history, because history reminds us. It tells our past, informs our present and our future. And it is important and vital for our spaces to have intergenerational wisdom that comes from all of the different people in our community, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes and we could stand together strong, wise, and educate and fill in the gaps that the institutions are not fulfilling. We're not miseducating our people. We are going to make sure that our people get their history from the womb and from our people.
It's very important, specifically in the digital age of this new social media, where it's, the attention span of your audience from social media is very quick, right? And oftentimes content that you see could potentially kind of depict maybe a history that maybe there isn't a lot of background to it or a lot of substance to it. And so definitely, like Martina, it is so important for the youth of this age and, anybody to really do your research, know the history, the cultural context of what you are studying and what you are producing and putting out there to your audience, so that you can show your authentic self, but also know that knowledge is power. And in order to really be effective within this, and to be profitable, right, as an artist, post-pandemic, you really have to work with social media instead of work against it. And so you have to work just as hard to be your authentic self, because it's very easy to get views, but if you're not showing who you really are, then it really doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Rodrigo, we have just a couple more minutes, but I'd like to hear from you. And, we talked about this. One of your mentors has been Roberto Hernandez, who, he's always, been a vocal advocate of Latino cultural spaces in City Hall. And I'm curious, as we're looking to the future, what is the role of advocacy and the need for artists, for creators to be louder about the needs of our community, the needs of our cultura?
Yeah, we need to build coalitions outside of just the Latino Latinx community in San Francisco, the artist community, and outside. We have to remind folks of the value of the arts. And I'm going to take real quick 1 minute memory lane from what I've heard from my elders and what I've read. In the 1960s, the hotel tax was created. And so it was 8% of that hotel tax went straight to the arts and culture. That's all been diminishing. And it basically folded into the general fund in the 2000s, which meant that now the city can do whatever they want with those funds. They were no longer allocated just for the arts. And the artist community had to fight since the 2000s up until really 2018, when Proposition E, I believe, passed, which really was just bringing us back to what we were back in the 1960s with that allocation of money just for the arts and culture, but less. So it was a win, but really, it's really just coming back to what people had fought for in the 1960s. So we have a lot of work to do, and we need to find other revenue streams to fund the arts. You know, maybe like property transfer taxes, for example, something that's more sustainable, because the hotel tax is not always sustainable. You saw what happened with COVID. The impact on people coming to San Francisco affected directly the arts because we're linked to that fund.
Right.
So we have to find other means, and we have to do that through advocacy and policy change and putting our vote to count. So we need to do that now.
That's right. Muchas gracias a los tres. Y bueno, ahorita we're going to have the pleasure of seeing Jessica perform for us. So Rodrigo, Martina, the three of us will leave the stage. And Jessica, el escenario es tuyo. Estás en tu casa.
espíritu y habla de los santos. Gente que me ama, magia resonando, mi corazón en África.
Latinx excellence. Mujeres, keepers of cultura.
I'm AJ Noriega, and my club is Chicana Dreams. When I was in high school, I was talking to my friend, and I was like, you know, one day I'm gonna buy a lowrider. I'm gonna start my own club. It's gonna be all females. My cousins, they have a club. I would see like my tias rolling with my tios in the back. So starting the club, it was like different, you know, like I was going against the grain. I will not be just someone that you can sit down and shut up. I'm here to say something, I'm here to lead something, because I got the bravery in my heart to do it. Having your car and then like deciding how you want it to sit, how you want it to ride. Adding like little touches here and there that represent you, right? Like your plaque. When you put your placazo on, that's the heart. It's with a lot of love and respect to be able to give this to you, my prima. Oh, thank you. I love you so much. I love you too.
Chicana Dreams to me is a sisterhood. It's everything I represent. This is just something that brings the community together, gives us the opportunity to better our people.
This makes me happy, you know, seeing my family get together and be surrounded by all the cars and the good times, laughter. I get to bond with my sisters. The cars, that's just extra. What it's really about is like the bond that we have with one another.
This is a testament to the strength and resilience of the Latinx community. Latinx excellence. Mujeres, keepers of cultura.
So AJ Noriega won't be able to join us today, but you can read more about AJ at kqed.org, or see the video again at videokqed.org, or sign up for that Que Onda newsletter to be able to keep up with all the content that's coming out of KQED that serves the Latino community. But let me introduce the members of the next panel. I'm very excited. All right, so hailing from Contra Costa County, we got Cristian Soto of Calaca Coffee, who with his childhood friend Jose Rodriguez have become masters of café de olla, bringing the rich tradition of Mexican coffee. How you doing, my man? Nice to see you. Here to the Bay Area. Siéntate, siéntate. Yes. And of course, we also have Malena Lopez Magui, excuse me. In 2006, she founded her own chocolate shop in Berkeley, the Chocolate Bar, which now has 2 locations. And last year, her business was named as one of the top 10 chocolate shops in the country by USA Today. Wow, felicidades. Qué bueno verte. And of course, one more time to the stage, Victor Aguilar, founder of Arepas en Bici. Victor is the first time, not the first time he's here with us with KQED. The first time was in 2022 as part of our Herencia KQED food series. He's been on shows like Chopped and Cutthroat Kitchen, both from the Food Network. And, you know, one thing, the first time I met Victor, we both got on our bikes because I was going to film a story about him. And I was like, yeah, I'll keep up, but this man, se fue, y me dejó ahí, but it was good. But he's as fast as his arepas are delicious, all right? All right, but good to have y'all. I'm just talking about y'all's foods. Ya se me está haciendo agua la boca. I'm just so hungry now. But let's talk about where have y'all been the past 2-3 years. I mean, Victor, I know that you've been focusing a lot more on your work as chef. Malena, I also know that you've opened a second location. Cuénteme, what have these past couple years have been like, especially running a business in post-pandemic? I mean, what are some things that have come back y las cosas que no han regresado? I think we can start with you, Christian.
Yeah. The main things is really finding what would be like the difficulties of like adapting your business model into really bringing people in, you know. I feel like it was difficult at first because we started as a pop-up, so really finding our foot where our coffee will be like accepted, or having our own twist as like a Mexican coffee shop and having like the representation there. So I feel like sorry, I would say
yeah, pero no, for sure, and that's I mean, and I think the story of Calaca Coffee is so cool. So it started as a pop-up. Now you have your own location.
Yeah, we have our own location
in Crockett. So for folks who are not informed where Crockett is, that's right. I got people from Crockett. That's northern Contra Costa County.
It is, yeah.
And that's also, the location is key because, as I understand, when coffee is coming in, también that it's coming through the San Pablo Bay. Is that correct?
So the sugar comes in the sugar comes in San Pablo Bay, but just being in that really unique location, I feel like we get a lot of people coming in from like Northern California or like traveling from San Francisco and upwards, like Tahoe. So just being in that middle ground and like people finding a very unique coffee experience, I feel like it's very important.
Right. Y donde hace falta, there's a lot of, hay mucha gente latina in Contra Costa County. And también they need their cafecito too.
Absolutely. Yeah, we get tons of people from like Richmond, San Pablo.
Wow.
So they like really like them finding like a spot where like, ooh, café de olla, and then we have like café de olla cold brew, which is like a very unique, like modern, like twist to coffee. Having like tres leches cold foams, it's really like fun for people to like really enjoy.
Wow. Okay, sabroso. All right, let's. Malena, I mean, felicidades, congratulations again on just, I mean, that like recognition from USA Today. I mean, do you feel like there's, there's momentum? I mean, también the second location. ¿Cómo te sientes right now? What's exciting, but also, I mean, of course, the post-pandemic challenges that you're working through.
Yeah, I mean, it has been wonderful to open a second location. Of course, tons of work, but we're finally kind of reaching a stage of like operational smoothness. We have a wonderful staff at both locations. The products are exquisite. You know, we're getting recognition nationwide for that. The shop is beautiful. It's wonderful. The challenge is like how to make it work, you know, as a business, as a financial endeavor. Because what the main challenge that's been happening over the last couple of years is the cocoa crisis. There's a global climate change related cocoa crisis, which is affecting chocolatiers, both small at my level and the big manufacturers like Nestle, Hershey's, Mars. Everyone's trying to reformulate, figure out how to use less cacao because it's becoming so scarce that the prices have doubled in the last couple of years. The price of cocoa butter has quadrupled, and then you add tariffs on top of that. So it's been incredibly challenging the last couple of years. I had to close down wholesale operations and pull out of 400 stores nationwide. It's been a lot, but you know, our chocolate it's a cultural treasure, and it's one of these things that's worth preserving, like KQED, for example, you know, like Mills College, for example, you know, and it's just trying to find the operating model to make it work.
Yeah, no, toda la razón. All right, and Victor, pues, hombre, I mean, every time I see you on Instagram, you got a whole new project going on. Now you're going to be a movie star. What's up, man? Cuéntanos.
Okay, so it's a documentary that they filmed during the pandemic, and we're still working at our first kitchen here in San Francisco. The film is actually getting shown in a couple festivals through the United States. But other than that, I've focused myself on private personal chef work. I'm working with a few families. And I've grown, I feel like culinary-wise and in experience, I've grown a lot, and I haven't lost sight on Arepas en Bici. If anything, I feel that once Arepas en Bici comes back, it's gonna be fully strong. And I definitely have a few plans for next year. As I'm getting older, I can't keep pushing the same way that I am, so I am thinking of passive ways to make my dream come true. And I still want to keep it a secret, but one of the ways that I want to have it is to facilitate it to everybody's house so they can feel a little bit of the taste.
Whoa, right on. A ver, qué emoción. And I mean, I really like, I mean, Victor, you know, I like it that you've already pushed, moved us to our next question, which is, I mean, for folks who are excited el cafecito de olla, del chocolate, de las arepas, I mean, right now, like, sus fans, what do you have in store for them? I mean, cuéntanos, like something like que han estado ahí planeando en secreto, en la cocina, forming up, cooking up. Cuéntanos. I mean, comenzamos contigo, Cristian.
I think para nosotros, we really want to, we always talked about somehow producing and bottling our product. So finding a way, finding a producer and getting our product out to the stores and, you know, having that nice little café de olla cold brew. Like on your local shelves or something like that.
Yeah, listo.
So that's what's always been in like the vision.
Okay, so like all over, so it can reach all the Bay Area.
Reach out throughout the Bay Area, especially like the East Bay where we like are located. So really have it out there for everyone to try.
Wow, qué rico. And then, Malena, cuéntanos, I mean, what's in the world of chocolate? I mean, yes, hay unos retos, pero las cosas son muy ricas. Things are very delicious.
Yeah, no, I mean, the creativity never stops, you know, it doesn't matter. So it's fun because this time of year, we're getting ready for our high season. And so we put all our new, like, seasonal flavors into play. And we have Sabores Latinos and Viva Mexico box that has, like, piña loca and salted chile and, like, horchata and fresa. And we also make international flavors. I mean, we got the ube banda, and we've got, like, milk tea. And so, yeah, just tons of flavors. We make 24 different flavors of bonbons, and then and then we have the bars on top of that, like another dozen bars. So yeah, we're busy, and of course the famous Dubai bar, which we finally had to make ourselves,
right,
through popular demand, and it's understandable why it's a worldwide craze, because it's legitimately, like, empirically delicious.
Okay. No, I'm actually writing an article on this. I'll touch base with you later.
Okay.
This is great. I'm telling you, these events valen la pena.
Yeah.
All right. And Victor, ¿y tú, my brother? What are you up to? Cuéntanos.
So for the past 3 years, I've been working with a couple families. I think for the next year, I see myself still working with them. I have the liberty to grow a lot I'm educating myself a lot. But one of the plans is to bring one of everybody's favorites, which is tequeños. So it's my goals to have tequeños and frozen empanadas and frozen goods. Some of them sort of like grocery departments, and sort of like make that my side. It won't be arepas en bici right away. I think arepas en bici, I'm more of finding the perfect time.
Yeah.
Most people don't know, but I moved to Sonoma last year, and I really like the demographic. I see arepas en bici as a culinary strength and something new up there, and maybe eventually bring it back to the Bay Area. But as I like I mentioned, I'm taking my time because I want to make sure that when I do launch this, it goes perfectly, it goes strong, and it goes like how it's supposed to. But I am planning, so that's arepas en bici, and then I have my frozen goods idea. So I have two plans for my future that I really wanna that I'm heading for.
Whoa.
And that I want to execute. So I can't wait till everybody has the facility, like, oh, I want some tequeños, let's just go to the store.
Yeah.
You have and then you find videos of me making a guasacaca, and then you make your own guasacaca, and then and so on.
Okay, no, qué rico. Man, if I could just me despierto and I warm up some tequeños in the microondas, oh my gosh, you're gonna make my life a lot easier, bro. Pero, I'm really happy that you mentioned you're out in Sonoma, and, hay mucha gente Latina in Sonoma, the population's been growing over the years, and, we heard a lot earlier this evening about folks here in the city, in the Mission, but we know that, nuestras comunidades, our Latino communities are all over the 9 counties, right? I mean, whether that's Sonoma, Alameda, Contra Costa. And I'd like to hear, as a food entrepreneur, what lessons have you learned from the Bay Area, right? And I think, I mean, you can take it anywhere, but yeah, just being in this place, and you, man, you grew up here. I love to hear from.
Yeah, I definitely grew up here in the Bay Area. I was raised in San Francisco and the East Bay, so I've experienced both sides of the Bay. But with the Comunidad Latina, like I really feel, especially in the Bay Area, it's very strong and they're very supportive. So like it just having them as like our backbone, like really like helps us thrive and push for more.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Right on. ¿Y tú, Malena, what lessons have you learned here in the Bay?
Here in the Bay, I mean, I'm from the Bay. I grew up in Santa Rosa and now based in the East Bay. And I mean, the support for artisan food, artisan businesses is really strong. People appreciate all the care and quality that we put into it. They make it clear that like what we do is appreciated, what we do has value, and everyone here has good taste. Like we know what good food is. Nobody eats better than Bay Area people. So yeah, the familiarity with like all the melting pot of flavors that's available here is just fun and lovely to like create things that delight people that have really good taste.
You know, I've actually 2 days ago I celebrated my 9 years here in the Bay Area. I moved here from Florida, and before Florida, I was born and raised in Venezuela. I've learned a lot in the Bay Area, and I've gotten a lot of support from the Bay Area. Not only the Spanish support, but all types of support from the Asian community, from all types of community. It's being, like she mentioned, everybody knows good taste out here, and they appreciate it, and they show, and when they find it, they show love, and the love is felt. And you know, for me, when I first got my first SF Eater article, I went from 70 followers to 1,600 followers within 2 weeks, and then the food just blew up. That amount of support, I've never imagined having it somewhere, like anywhere else, and that I got in the Bay Area, and that's something that I've like loved and I appreciate, and I'm always going to be like, it's always going to be a part of me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Pues un aplauso, y'all. And I mean, a lot of that big support is everybody who's been able to come out here. Ya tenemos la oportunidad of trying quite a few things que, you know, some of our panelists and others, small Latino business owners, have brought over in the lobby. Entonces, I don't want to stand in the way of hungry people and food. I've done that before. It didn't go so well. Pero yo solo, antes de que nos despidemos, I first just want to thank our panelists. Un aplauso, por favor. Our vendors, and also our producers, Joan Martinez, Paloma Barca, our KQED members, and again, each and every one of you that, you know, if we talk about, you know, preserving and continuing Latino culture throughout the year and into the future, and it's just something that happens every day when we come together. So again, ha sido un placer, thank you, buenas noches, and see you soon. Un placer, Cristian. ¿Te puedo dar un abrazo?